Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Alright, so for this level 50 analysis, one of my friends really loves Sableye. He also uses it a lot for Go Battle League, so I was like, you know what? I decided to actually, I looked at it and I was like, wow, Sableye level 50 is pretty good. Now, it's a little hard to get because you kind of need return. You can also use Shadow XL. There's a lot of variations for Sableye that you can use. But for the general purposes, we're just going to analyze level 50. We're going to analyze a Purified level 50, a Shadow level 50 as well, just so everything's all in one video. But it's really good for Go Battle League. If you haven't fought it already, this thing has been taking your soul, or you've been taking souls with it. It's a fantastic save switch, and with return, and it's the sheer damage that it does, it lets you take back switch, and it just does so much damage. Generates energy quickly with Shadow Claw, and Foul Play hurts and hits like a truck. As you see here, it maxes out at near 1500. The level 40 variation, it needs to be Best Buddy to be up, but you can level 50 it, and then the IV range is very specific. So I'll show you. You'll see when we do the pvpoke.com analysis and the matrix, just like how, what the IVs need to be, so that you can get one for Great League. But the Great League one is still a beast. That's why it's worth analyzing for level 50. Is something that's extremely powerful, will be extremely more dominant, will be even more dominant in Go Battle League. So as you see here, Shadow Claw, Foul Play, Power Gem, Shadow Sneak, and Return if you have it. Remember, it's an extremely powerful moveset. With Return, it's very good. Now, what makes Sableye also very good is that there's only one weakness. It's only weak to Fairy types. Because it carries a very unique typing of Dark and Ghost, it's only weak to one typing, which is Fairies. That makes it really good. And if you manage to get its resistances, like Normal and Psychic, it does double resist Normal Psychic. It also resists Fighting and Poison. So it does give you a great answer against against a lot of the meta. And like I said, it's only weak to Fairies. So you can even take out Fairies in the zeros, I believe, if you're able to land a Return. So it's a very powerful mon. So normally what you need to get to make it viable for PvP is to get a perfect Purified Sableye, and you can use that for PvP. However, there's very specific stat spread for the level 51 for Purified. Of course, Shadow level 50 is going to have a specific one as well. So, like I said, we'll take a look at that during the matrix analysis. All right, since each version of Sableye is so in-depth, this one's going to go over the regular Sableye. So this is going to go over a Sableye at level 50 just the regular version. Now we're gonna go over two movesets. Obviously, as you see here, there's multiple variations of Sableye that can actually work. Now, like I said, there is the Shadow XL version. I'm gonna go over that on another video because Sableye they flip very different matchups. And Sableye is such a powerhouse, and it's so powerful in Go Battle League. Like I said, even though it ranks 105, it's still stupid powerful. Like, 105, it's underrated for 105 just because it's an incredible switch. A lot of battlers run it as a switch just because if you have it in the back and you throw it into something like its key matchups, it's extremely powerful. That's why it ranks so high, that's why it's used so much, even though it's at rank 105 overall. This is where statistically it stands. It's just against the current meta, or it's just so powerful that it's like very heavily underrated. Now, Sableye XL for level 50, as you see here, it ranks at number 21 with Foul Play and Return. Now, here's a caveat. It needs to have Return to be ranked this high because it gives it that extra power with Return. As you see here, incredibly powerful matchups against very top meta picks. And your negative matchups, as you see here, you barely lose against Azu, Skarm. Well, you kind of convincingly lose to Skarm, but you barely lose to Azu, Altaria, Bastion, and Wishcash. What this means is that if these Pokemon are in kill range and they don't have shields and you have energy advantage, you can possibly take on an Azu, Bastion, and Wishcash with Sableye XL. That's just how powerful it is. As you see, it's best used as a lead or switch. A lot of battlers will use Sableye in the back just because if you switch into a positive matchup, it's just extremely powerful. And it's great. It's actually very good in all positions as well, ranking at near 90, but best in the lead and the switch. In the lead, Sableye XL ranks at number 57. It beats G-Fisk, it beats, like I said, DD, Alolan Marowak, Stunfisk, Swampert. Very powerful across a lot of top meta picks. Regular Sableye ranks at number 44 as a lead, but it's still very powerful. As a closer, it ranks at number 31. Being able to take out Stunfisk, Alolan Marowak, Deoxys Defense, Galvantula, and Toxicroak. You basically win and lose against the same things, and of course you lose against Umbreon just because it technically walls you, except for the fact that you have return or not. And as a switch, Sableye XL level 50 is in strongest position at the number 2 safe switch in the meta. Like I said, if you get a very positive match, as you see in some scenarios, Sableye XL can actually even beat Altaria. So it beats Stunfisk, Altaria, Galvantula, Alolan Marowak, Deoxys Defense. It's actually one of the most powerful safe switches in the entire Great League meta. It's just that good. Alright, here we go. We have the Matrix, ppoke.com. Again, please consider donating ppoke.com. If it wasn't for this open source, I wouldn't be able to do all the amazing things that I do for my videos. And the human being, Kakuna Matata, is just an amazing battler and an amazing human being as well. Like I said, make sure y'all consider donating. I'm definitely donating, but this website is amazing. And my favorite part of this is the Matrix. Matrix, we get to see what we beat and what we lose to. And it's so intricate in detail because we get to see bulk and breakpoints as well, depending on IVs. As you see here, I have level 50 Sableye and a level 41 variants. As you see, the max you can get for a Sableye, well, you can actually get a return Sableye at level 50 at 0, 15, 15. So you can actually get a 0, 15, 15 one, but it has to be traded to you. That's the caveat. So here's the level 4. Here's the level. I'm going to do this. We'll do 2, 15, 15 because that's like the best option you're going to get at 2, 15, 15. As you see here, 0, 15, 15 is the major difference. We can play with the Matrix though, so as you see here, 2, 15, 15, because when you Purify them on, you get +2 on each stat. So this is assuming a Sableye that has 0, 13, 13, or goes from 0, 15, 15. You're going to have 2 attack. So then I'm going to maximize it, as you see here, 2, 15, 15 maxed out at level 48. I also have a level 51 here with Power Gem. This is at maximum stats, so this is assuming you don't have Return Sableye with Foul Play and Power Gem, as you see here. Now, I'm not going to do Shadow Sneak. Well, we can't actually here. You know what? Let's do it. So we're going to do Shadow Sneak. So we'll do Sableye. We'll do level 50 Sableye with Shadow Sneak. And then we'll do all the variations just so we can cover all our bases. There's, of course, different movesets that you can use. So definitely this is a good way to do it. And we'll analyze. This is going to be a level 40 Sableye. So I'm going to do a level 41 just to maximize. This is a perfect one, of course, best buddied. We'll run all variations. This way you could see the complete analysis just so we don't leave anything out. There might be something you like because for example, I actually have a level 50 Sableye, but it's not purified. So I have the 0, 15, 15 variation, but it doesn't have purification. So let's see just how everything changes when you do analyze it this way. So as you see, here we go. Now we have all variations of Sableye, the regular version, level 51s, level 40s. And now we're going to run the simulator. Our level 50s. Now the simulation with six sample sizes is going to be a little tough, but I'm just going to basically summarize it. This is the 2-shield scenario, as you see here. So this Foul Play Return and Foul Play Power Gem variation, it looks like they both beat Altaria. Here's where it gets interesting. So you need the return variation to beat Azu. That's why return is hailed as you need return. Because as you see here, you're able to beat Azu. That's why return's so valuable. As you see, you're able to... The Power Gem version does flip the Altaria matchup, but I would say Azu's more prevalent and a lot more common in the meta. That's why everyone runs return. You beat Chestnut, you lose against Charmers. Like I said, Charmers are your biggest threat. Also, things that are really bulky like Bastion will smack you down, so just keep that in mind. Also, like I said, really bulky Dugong, Diggersby. You absolutely destroy Deoxys Defense and Cresselia, though. You defeat Drifblim. You see how powerful Sableye is? Look at all of the picks you beat with Sableye. It's just nuts at how strong it is. You beat Drifblim, Ferrothorn, Frostus, Galvantula, Haunter, Hypno, both versions Hypno, by the way, and Lapras. As you see here, you need Power Gem or Return to flip the Lapras matchup, otherwise you lose against all other variations in the 2-shield. And as you see here, you're going to lose against Lickitung just because it resists those counters. And like I said, I mean those Shadow Claws and Machamp just because it does so much damage. Like I said, anything that's super thick or puts a lot of pressure on you or even debuffs you like Mantine, you will lose into 2 shield. You do beat a slew of other meta picks, however. Again, Munchlax does wall your Shadow Claws, so does Obstagoon. That's why it's so prevalent. You do beat Melmetal, Meganium, Mew, Medicham, Marowak. You also beat Alolan Raichu and Registeel. Registeel, you can just cut Registeel down to size. So here's where things kind of get interesting. In the Sableye mirror match, you win you win. The perfect one will be wins the mirror. As you see here, the perfect one wins the mirror as long as you have, well, this is gonna be weird. So you actually beat Sableye. You have to have energy advantage to beat the return variation. However, as you see here, it's a very even matchup. So you don't need return to beat in the mirror, but it does. There's a lot of situations, so just keep that in mind. The return version also lets you beat Scrafty. So you flip Azu, you flip Scrafty, and you also flip Stunfisk as long as you have level 50. As you see here, the level 50 return foul play variation actually flips the Stunfisk matchup, which is just nuts at how powerful level 50 is. A regular level 50, a level 40 does not. As you see here, level 40 does not flip that Stunfisk matchup. It's very notable, and you, like, as you see here, another example is Tropius. So for Tropius, you beat it with return or the power gem variation at level 50. You don't beat it with all the other variations. You actually lose, as you see here, the Air Slash. You're going to lose against Razor Leaf just because those Razor Leaf chunks, and of course Umbreon walls you. So just don't do it. You do beat Venusaur, however, with this. I would say Venusaur is probably less important than all your other picks, though, to be honest with you, because you don't, like, compared to a lot of other meta picks, like especially Azu, Scrafty, those are a lot more common than Venusaur is. Or than you see Venusaur. As you see, Vigoroth does lose against the Power Gem or the Shadow Sneak version. This is where level 50 gets really interesting. It beats very intricate matchups, but as you see in the 2 shield, the best variation is definitely the return variation because you can beat the Azu, etc. You can beat Azu, you can beat Lapras, and you also beat Scrafty and Stunfisk. So you flip the most matchups with the level 50 return variation. In the 1 shield, things get a little dicey. As you see in the 1 shield, we run the 1 shield, we go up. As you see, you beat Abomasnow. You'll lose against Altaria just because in the 1 shield, Sky Attack will hurt and it will die and it will kill you. As long as you have the level 50 version, you're able to flip the Bomba matchup. Level 50 in the 1 shield is also able to flip the Dugong matchup. And the Frostus matchup, and the Galvantula matchup. As you see here, level 50 matters. Level 50 does matter. It lets you beat Frostless, it lets you beat Galvantula. In the 1 shield, you beat Mantine, Alolan, Marowak as well. Now, there's one caveat. Unless you have energy advantage, you can't beat the Mew matchup in the 1 shield. Just because Mew chunks so much damage. And it basically wild charges you to death. The Flame Charge variation does. Your Power Gem version will beat Mew, though, because you can actually get... Well, actually, you should be able to beat Mew just going straight foul play. So this really is dependent right here. I'm not sure what has it right there. But as you see, you're able to flip a lot of key meta matchups. With the level 50 matchup of return, you're actually able to flip Registeel, Sableye, and Scrafty. Being able to beat Scrafty is huge. But, as you see, not having return, there's not a titanical... Well, there is a titanical difference just based on, what match you flip the most matchups. But at the same time, that doesn't mean the Power Gem version, as you see here, that doesn't mean it's not usable. As you see, it beats a lot of matchups the return variation does beat. Or it wins a lot of matchups that the return variation wins, as you see here, same time. But there is those small things like Wish Cash and being able to flip the most matchups. I definitely give the return variation a lot more play than any other variant. Alright, so we analyzed the 2 shield and the 1 shield, now the zeros. Like you see, the return one actually is the best one, of course. The regular return and the level 40 return does matter, but level 50 does flip matchups. So having return and level 50 does matter. As you see here in the zeros, the return variation gets the most bang for your buck because you're able to one-shot a lot of things. You beat Abomasnow, you beat Chestnut, you beat you beat most matchups that you're strong against. Of course, you're gonna lose against things like I said, things that are really thick like Dugong, or things that resist Shadow Call like Diggersby. So as you see here, you're able to beat Lapras with the level 50 variation. You lose with the Power Jet at level 50, as you see here. And the perfect one actually flips some matchups, as you see, just because of its attack. For Shadow Champ, you need to have return, or as you see here, you need to be able to have return to beat it with a lot of variations. The Power Gym one does let you beat Mandibuzz in the closer, but I would say Shadow Champ's a more dominant matchup than Mandibuzz. Also, level 50 return, as you see here, is able to flip the Obstagoon matchup. So you're actually able to beat Obstagoon. Both versions beat Munchlax, but you're able to beat Obstagoon. As you see here, it's really nuts just like what you flip. You're even able to beat Shiftry with the level 50 return version. As you see here, the level 50 versions of other ones don't beat it, but if as long as you have return, you can beat it with Shiftry with both the return variation. You beat Swampert with the return variation, and you also beat both versions of Stunfisk with all 3 of the level 50 variants. As you see, this is where level 50 and 40 kind of get really iffy. And you also beat Venusaur with the level 50 return variation. So there's a lot of things. Like I said, the level 50 return variation beats a lot. In the 1-0, things get really interesting just because you're able to beat, like, as you see so many things. Level 50 variation, you're able to beat Azu with the 1-0 in the 1-0s as long as you have the return variation, as you see here. Is there anything specific that level 50 flips? Yes, it flips the Scrafty matchup. It also flips, yeah, it flips the Scrafty matchup, and you're able to beat Umbreon. So at the 1-0s, you're actually able to flip Scrafty. But that's still pretty nuts. And because with Scrafty, well, you flip Scrafty with a regular variation too. So level 50 does that. Level 50 also allows you to beat Azu. In the 2-0s, I see in the 2-0s, the only thing that beats you is I think Charmers are the only things that actually beat the 2 main variations. As you see, unless you have Shadow Sneak here, just because you are walled by Mandibuzz for that variation. But as you see, you pretty much beat the entire meta, except for the Charmers. And as long as you have Return and Power Gem, because if you have Foul Play and Shadow Sneak, you will get walled by Dark types. Well, some Dark types. Other than that, you beat the rest. The 2-1s, it's a different story. So in the 2-1s, things do change. You generally, like, it's kind of like it's like the one shield for the most part. As you see, there are very specific matchups that you do flip depending on which variation you have for IVs. For example, the Perfect Return one flips the Zweilous matchup. And as you see, the level 50 the Power Gym version actually allows you to flip some very weird matchups. As you see, you flip Bastiodon with the level 50. You beat Diggersby in the 2-1s with the return variation, so that's pretty huge considering you lose against everything else with it. Also, Power Gym does allow you to beat Mandibuzz, but the return one allows you to beat Munchlax. As you see, return does some work. There's very specific matchups that level 50 Power Gym or Shadow Sneak flip, but at the same time, definitely return is the, like, you know, bird's the word, return's the word, because if you don't got return, like, you still have very strong matchups, but you definitely don't flip as much as a Sableye with return does. Alright, so if I had to give Sableye level 50 a rating, well, the regular version, well, technically the purified version, or just the regular version in general, non-shadow version, I give it a 10 out of 10. It's just that good. Sableye is very good against the current meta, and it has such strong picks against the entirety of the meta. Here's the thing. Okay, so here's 0, 15, 15. And we analyze the 2 shield. Let's do that. Just with the purified version, the return version is just so good because of the matchups it's able to flip. It's so powerful, and it flips even more matchups at level 50. So here's the 2 shield variation with, as you see here, with the level 50. Now, if you do get a purified one at level 50, but it's 2, 15, 15, here's what happens. So 73%. Do this, you put 2, here's what happens. Because that's the max you're going to get if you purify one without trading it. You flip 72. So you lose some matchups, but you still beat a lot. A 72% rating is still very, very powerful. Assuming the 0% rating, as you see at level 49.5, which is that rating right there. You literally just pick up, you lose 9 more matchups. And most of them are probably just charms or really close matchups. Now, Sableye is incredibly powerful. Again, the number 2, like, it's just so strong that I have to give it a 10. The regular Sableye is hard enough to beat, especially if it has a neutral or positive matchup, because it's so strong, especially with Energy Van. Shadow Claw generates entry quickly, return hits like a truck, and Foul Play just does so much damage with that stab. And here's another reason why. So if you do the 2 to... So if you have shield advantage, this is what happens. Boom. That's just with shield advantage. You pick up 96% of matchups in shield advantage, losing mainly to Charmers. That's nuts. Even in the 2, even if you use the, like, non-super perfect variant and use the one that you use to purify, you still have 95.2, 0.8%. So with shield advantage, you absolutely destroy everything. which is nuts. It's just really nuts how powerful. Sableye is one of those mons that even though if it does, like, with just shield advantage alone, it's just, like, extremely powerful. But across the entire meta, it's also the most powerful switch. Also great in the lead. The lead and switch variation, along with that, the amount of play that Sableye gives you, it's just so good that I have to give it a 10 out of 10. If you're in the, look, even in the 1 shield, you're just so powerful. So that, as you saw in the 1-0, in the 2-1s, 77%. If you're in the 1-0s or the 2-0s, or if you have shield advantage, you go all the way up to 90%. You literally lose only 7 matchups in the with 1 shield, and those all matchups are all Charmers. See? And a Alolan Golem, for some odd reason. But, as you see, it's just so powerful. Like, there's no way. Like, Sableye is an incredible generalist. It's able to take out a lot of Metamons, and return just flips so many matchups. Level 50 also allows you to pick up more negative matchups, such as Scrafty. So, level 50 Sableye, if I haven't convinced you to go out really, really hard for this Team Rocket Takeover event, or if you already have one and you're thinking about powering one up, you probably should really think about getting all that candy to power it up to level 50. Because Sableye at level 50 is going to be extremely... It's so strong, and it's super powerful in Great League already, but level 50 Sableye in Great League is going to destroy, like, annihilate if you play, especially if you play it well, and especially if it has shield or energy advantage. I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. Sableye is incredibly powerful at level 50 for the Great League meta. I will be analyzing the Shadow version next, just so you see the differences between a Shadow level 50 versus a regular level 50 would return, because there are subsequent differences. However, Shadow is also a very interesting thing, and as you see, it's so powerful. A Shadow level 50 is worth looking into. You got good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.